Individual development planning is a process that aims to help professionals improve on their skills and knowledge to achieve their career goals. The process also facilitates the improvement of one's current job requirement and thus influencing the attainment of one's short-term and long-term career goals. Now, we have some organizations that have incorporated an individual development planning program through their human resource function. And what they are mostly hoping to achieve is a win-win outcome where they are enhancing on their employees' capabilities, morale, and productivities, whereas their employees are benefiting from enhanced experience, skills, and knowledge. The beauty of having an organizational individual development planning program is that through this talent management function, managers are able to work with their employees through their professional development journey. They're able to hold them accountable. They're able to provide them with support and direction. And this is usually very good for professionals, all right? But not all of us are that lucky. Some organizations have not incorporated an individual development planning program. So professionals in those organizations are tasked with the responsibility of independently developing and implementing their own professional development goals and activities. And still, even when you're that lucky to be working for an organization that has incorporated an individual development planning program, you still need to understand the aspects that are incorporated within it so that you can well leverage and optimize on that opportunity. In this video, I will be taking you through the process of developing and implementing an individual development plan for your career growth. Welcome to Security Nuggets Podcast, a channel that focuses on security risk insights and perspectives for your security excellence. And I'm your host, Ashley. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for joining me in this discussion. And without wasting any time, let's get into it. In the process of developing and implementing an individual development plan, one of the things that you start with is by setting your goals. What are your short and long-term career goals? And when you're setting these goals, it's very important that you set goals that are specific to your skills and interest. The importance of setting goals is that they act as a roadmap that directs us and gives us purpose in our day-to-day activities. Now, these are the things that we need to consider when we are setting our career goals. We should not overwhelm ourselves during this process, especially if you're starting on. If you're beginning the process of setting your goals, if this is the first time you're developing an individual development plan, don't overwhelm yourself, all right? What I mean is this. Don't create so many goals, whether they are short-term or long-term, in a way that they are going to be so overwhelming to you, all right? Start off with a limited number of goals, all right? It's very important that when we are setting goals, we don't overwhelm ourselves. It is easy for us to be over-ambitious in the process of setting our goals. We might list so many goals that we want to achieve, whether they are short or long-term, okay? But at this point, it's very important for us to be realistic. And if you're starting this for the first time, if this is the first time you're developing an individual development plan, it is very important for you to start with limited goals, okay? Start with 5. You can start with 5 goals, okay? And the other thing you need to do is to establish your objectives. Every goal has got to have an objective. There has to be a reason why we are setting that goal. What are we hoping to achieve? What are our aspirations aligned to whatever goals we are setting? It's also very important for us to harness our energy and focus towards meaningful tasks that are going to increase our efficiency and overall productivity. The second step in the process of developing and implementing an individual development plan is to conduct your self-assessment. This is a very important step because it is through this assessment that you get to have an action plan. The output of your self-assessment, your professional self-assessment, is going to be the thing that guides you on what strategies you need to put in place. What action plans do you need to design? So you need to be self-aware. You need to be real with yourself, all right? And one of the tools that I like to encourage professionals to use during this process of self-assessment is the SWOT analysis, all right? If you're a member of the Security Nuggets podcast, you will remember that we used this similar tool of the SWOT analysis in an episode that we did on strategic alignment, okay? This was an episode that aimed to help security department and functions align their goals with those of the organizations, okay? And the SWOT analysis tool came in handy for that. We're also going to use the same tool, but now for purposes of self-assessment and evaluation from a professional development point of view, all right? Now, the SWOT analysis tool consists of 4 sections. We have the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So what you do as a professional is you outline your professional strengths, list them down, all right? And then you outline your weaknesses. You proceed to outline your opportunities, the opportunities that you have been presented with, and also the threats that you are having to deal with, all right? Some of the challenges that you're having to deal with in your professional career. Now, for instance, when you're outlining your professional strengths, all right? I'll just give a few examples, okay? And obviously these are different. These are different across board because every professional have their own unique traits, okay? So they vary. So I'll just give examples just to help you understand how you can use this tool and utilize this tool, the SWOT analysis tool. When it comes to strengths, it's very important for you to outline what you feel is your strong area of application. Which are your areas? Where do you thrive in? Where do you do good at from a professional point of view? Where do you win? Okay, for instance, you may have very strong soft skills, okay? You may have very good communication skills, very good presentation skills. You're very good with the interpersonal skills. You're good in communicating with people, all right? That's a strength, okay? Someone else might have very strong technical skills, okay? For instance, they might be very good in application of security concepts or security design strategies. They have very strong proficiency skills. They are very good in application, okay? They just don't have a wealth of knowledge, industry knowledge and experience. When it comes to applying that knowledge and experience, they do very well, okay? So that's their strength, okay? So outline your strengths in that category, okay? When it comes to weakness, these are your areas of weakness, areas where you're struggling with, you're not very good at, okay? And yet you find yourself having to have these skills within your current job setup, okay? But you're struggling in this area. For instance, you may have very weak soft skills. You're not very good in communication. You probably don't feel very confident when you're addressing a group of people, or you don't feel very confident if you have to speak in a group of many professionals, okay? So that is a weakness, all right? Again, you may have very weak application skills, all right? Uh, you're not very good in applying some of the technical skills, okay? Again, it depends on what position or what job position are you working at, all right? Maybe you're in a management position, an executive position, whereby the skills are different. You probably need to implement skills that are very important for that job position. You need to have those analytical skills, strategic skills, uh, project management skills, but you're not very good at those skills. So some of those skills, okay? So that's a weakness, all right? And this is a category that requires you to be very real with yourself, okay? When it comes to the individual development plan, it's not being done to judge you, no, it's being done to establish areas of deficiencies or weakness so that you can improve on those areas. You can come up with strategies and activities to improve on those areas. So be real with yourself, okay? It's to your best interest, all right? When it comes to opportunities, we're looking at what is out there for us to leverage on to improve on ourselves from a professional point of view. All right, what's out there? And in this time, we have so many opportunities that are out here that professionals can get to leverage on and get to improve on their deficiencies. For instance, we are having so many open source opportunities. There are so many sources out there where we can access information, we can access knowledge to improve on our skills, all right? For instance, I'll start by talking about YouTube, okay? A platform that we are in right now as we're having this discussion. YouTube is a platform, is a social platform that you can use to learn and acquire as much knowledge as you can. And a lot of these YouTube sessions are free of charge. They are free platforms. You don't have to pay anything, okay? So you can leverage on that, okay? Our channel is one of those examples, okay? We discuss so much information, okay? I think we are just clocking into, I think, our 30th video right now. These have been discussions of very valuable information, all right? And most of these discussions have been on SQL, and which has been converted into playlists per topic, okay? This is content that you can access free of charge. You're not paying for it, so you can leverage on that, all right? Other opportunities that are out there are free webinars, okay? You can get to see where you can access free webinars, obviously, that are specific to your skills and interest, areas of interest, okay? I'll use LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a professional platform, all right? If you're in LinkedIn, you will agree with me that that is an area where you can also access to valuable and credible information that can help you expound on your know-how and your knowledge. It can help you continue learning, all right? And you can get to access so many free webinars as well in the LinkedIn platform. So that's another opportunity you can leverage on, okay? We have conferences. We have exhibitions, all right? Some of them are free to attend, okay? But when you're looking at opportunities, you've got to look at opportunities that you have to invest in with your money and those that you don't have to invest in with your money, all right? They are all there. Whether you're paying for it or you're not paying for it, it's there, all right? What determines whether you're going to go for it or not is what the next step that you're going to cover, where we are designing the action plan, okay? That is what determines whether you really need to invest your money and time in whatever opportunity that is out there for you, right? In your professional development journey, but opportunities are there, okay? So outline all these opportunities within your reach in this category, okay? Now, when it comes to threats, what are the challenges that are hindering your professional growth and development? Okay. What's limiting your growth? What are the things that are holding you back? All right. Now, for instance, I'm going to use resources, especially monetary resources, money. Okay. And some of these courses and trainings or certifications are expensive. All right. And not every professional can afford them. You probably need to save up. You probably need to take a loan. All right. Especially professionals who are in organizations that are yet to incorporate individual development planning programs. Okay. If you're working for an organization that has an IDP program in place, you're lucky because through their talent management, you can be able to access those benefits. The organization can sponsor your upscaling. They can pay for your courses. They can pay for your trainings. But some professionals are not that lucky. So again, they have to self-sponsor themselves. If you don't have the resources, then it becomes a threat. All right, it becomes a threat. Another threat can be in form of leadership supports. Okay, if you're working in an organization that still sees security from a narrow focus as a function that is not so much of value, well, you might have a problem growing in that kind of organization, okay? And that is a threat. Okay, so outline all the threats that are specific to you because like I said, different professionals, different strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So outline what resonates with you in terms of your specific skills and your interest. When you're done with that, we move into the next step, which is now the step number 3 of designing an action plan. Okay? Now that you have conducted a self-assessment or a self-evaluation for yourself, it is now time to outline a strategy of how we can now work on those deficiencies. And in this step, it's very important for you to ask yourself such questions. One, what is your current job position? What are the requirements of your current job position? What are you required to do in terms of your skill sets? In terms of application of your skills, what's required? You need to ask yourself that question. Again, what is the next role you are aspiring to achieve? What is the next job you want to do? Okay. Have you figured that out? Good. Next, what skills and knowledge are required for that particular job position? What are the requirements? All right. Asking yourself these questions helps you to prioritize the strategies and activities that you need to engage in, that you need to now start implementing and executing. In your action plan, in this step of designing, some of the action plans that you need to be including are learning from a mentor. That is a very important action plan. If you can pinpoint a mentor you can learn from, obviously it's got to be a professional, a seasoned professional who is in the same industry. If you can pinpoint one, then learn from them, okay? That is an action plan that you need to have in your IDP. The other thing you need to do is to join a professional organization. We have so many of them. Others are globally recognized, others are local, depending on your area of operation as a professional. So identify them and see if you can join one or two, all right? The other action plan that you can include is enrolling in a development course, all right? The other action plan can be earning yourself a professional certification within the industry, okay? The other action plan can include leading and presenting in a meeting, okay? Just to test out your confidence and to test out your presentation and communication skills, you know? And the other one can be cross-training in different positions. You know, it's very important for us to be adaptable. You know, we don't have to be rigid where you get to learn. You get to expound your experience, okay? You get to expose yourself. The other action plan is to attend conferences, you know, industry conferences, industry workshops, industry seminars, okay? You can add that in your action. The next step is to set target markers and timelines. All right, now we have already designed our action plans. We have outlined and mapped out strategies and activities that we want to get involved with, and they align with our self-assessment. All right, all the things we outlined in the SWOT analysis, we have incorporated all those things in the design process. So, for instance, the strategies and activities that we have identified aim to improve on our weaknesses, the weaknesses that we outlined in our SWOT analysis, okay? Again, the strategies and activities that we have incorporated in our design are going hand in hand with the threats that we identified, the threats that we outlined that are in line with our profession. And now it is time for us to set targets for ourselves. All right? It is now time for us to set ourselves targets and to set ourselves target timelines. All right? That way, we can hold ourselves accountable. All right? Now, the best way to go about this is when you're setting your targets, when you're setting your target markers and timelines on a quarterly basis. Now, a year has 4 quarters. That is every 3 months. After every 3 months, okay, you set your target marker. I want to achieve this by the end of the 3 months. All right? Why I prefer the quarter timelines, which are short-term based, is because it is highly likely that when you make your target markers and timeline go on an annual basis, like for a whole year, you get complacent, you relax, because you're looking and seeing, I still have all those months before the year ends. There's still time. There's still time for me to engage in whatever professional development strategy or activity. There is still time for me to do this and that. The year is still young, okay? But the best way to go about this is to set your target markers and timeline within a quarterly basis. After every 3 months of the year, okay, you want to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable, all right, and you're being able to attain those short-term and long-term goals. Otherwise, if we say we are going to put we are going to set our target markers within a timeline of 6 months, you know, which is after half the year, I think we are tempted to relax. We are tempted to not push ourselves as hard as we ought to. We get complacent, all right? So we need to hold ourselves accountable, okay? If you know that after every 3 months, you have yourself, you have a date with yourself to evaluate your progress, to see how you're proceeding and how you're going and whether you're making improvements. If we can do that, then we can hold ourselves accountable, okay? And again, it's much better because if there's an area within the 3 months, if there's an area that you have not improved on or you're struggling with, you can then re-strategize. You know, it's like you're calibrating, all right? And then you can see what you need to do, areas of improvement, or what you need to change within the next quarter all right? So that you can be able to attain on that goal that you wanted to attain, that you were not able to attain within the current quarter. You can always make sure that your plan is adapting as you move forward after every quarter of the year. So set those targets for yourself. What's the outcome you want to achieve? This is what I want to achieve by this timeline. Set the timelines. Do you want the timelines to be monthly, quarterly, mid-year, or annually at the end of the year? Set those timelines. And I will emphasize that the shorter the timelines, the frequency of the timelines, for instance, making them quarterly, the higher the chances of you achieving on your short-term and long-term goals. The fifth step is where you need to set your accountability mechanisms, all right? Because I think this is very important, especially if you're working alone on this. If you have independently developed and implemented your individual development plan as a professional, you really need to hold yourself accountable. It's different when you're working with an organizational independent development plan. There are people there holding you accountable. There are people there supporting you and pushing you, that are they are evaluating your progress. They are continuously appraising your performance. It's different. If you're doing this independently, then you have to have an accountability mechanism. How are you going to be about it? Now, if you are a self-driven professional, I don't think you'd have a problem here. By self-driven, I mean that you take initiative. You are good at setting goals and making sure that you're achieving those goals. You're self-driven, okay? If you're that kind of professional, then even working independently, you wouldn't struggle when it comes to implementation of your individual development plan. For some professionals, either because they are too overwhelmed or because they are a bit too reluctant, all right? They need to have an accountability mechanism. Now, for instance, you can have a mentor. You can work with a mentor, all right? And let them be part of your individual development planning so that they can hold you accountable. They will be aware of what goals you have set for yourself. They will be aware of the strategies and activities that you have committed yourself to engage in, and they will hold you accountable. After the 3 months or whatever timelines you have set for yourself, they will want to have a sitting with you or talk to you over the phone or whatever, and they will really want to hear and they will really want to know, how are you going about it? Where are you encountering challenges? How can we step in to help you? So having a mentor is a good mechanism to help you with your accountability, okay? Even when you're working as an independent professional, if you have a manager, even when there is no organizational IDP, I mean, if you have a supervisor or a manager who you can be able to loop in and have them as someone who can hold you accountable or help you in the professional development journey, if you're lucky enough to have that sort of manager, supervisor, then do that. Incorporate them in your accountability mechanism so that they can help you in your professional development journey, all right? If you have a friend, sometimes we have those friends who are very locked in our professional growth and development, like they really want you to do well in your career. You can include them in your professional journey. You can have them there as your accountability mechanisms, okay? These are people you can sit down with and evaluate your progress, evaluate the areas that you feeling you're having challenges, okay? They might be able to help you in one way or another, all right? So whichever route you choose, it's very important to have some accountability going on. If you're not going to hold yourself accountable and commit to the process of your professional development, then you need to have someone else come in and help you in that journey of executing your individual development plan. The last step, and it's a very important step in the process of developing and implementing your individual development plan, reflection and adaptability. All right. This means that your individual development plan is open to change. It is open to continue adapting. Remember, the individual development plan is not supposed to be a one-off thing for you. As a professional, you're aspiring to grow in your career. All right. So if you're aspiring to get to the next level and you get to the next level and there's still opportunity for you to grow and become someone even more in your professional career, I mean, continue having that IDP working for you. That means it will be changing. As you take on new job positions, your IDP plan change, okay? As you grow in your career, your IDP changes as well. So again, you need to ensure that you're having those reflection moments. It's important for you to have those retrospective moments. Continue reflecting on what's working out for you in your individual development plan and what is not working out for you. Okay, so that you can be able to adapt it. You can be able to make those changes, those relevant changes here and there. All right. Because as I said, the IDP is supposed to be ongoing, all right? Because at the end of the day, there is a goal you want to achieve, all right? Unless you retire and you're like, no more working for me. I have achieved everything I ever wanted in my profession, you know? Unless that is the case, your individual development plan needs to keep on adapting to reflect your job position as you move on and move on and move on. So what I would like to urge you to do, especially now that we are still within the first quarter of this new year of 2025, is for you to create your own individual development plan, all right? Develop it and start implementing it using the steps that we have highlighted, all right? Set your goals, both short-term and long-term, okay? And once you have done that, proceed to conduct a self-assessment for yourself when it comes to your professional career, all right? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities that are available to you to tap into? And what are the threats? These are the challenges that you're facing in your career, okay? Use the SWOT analysis for that, okay? The SWOT analysis tool for that. Again, when you do that, design an action plan, okay? And it's got to align with the output of your SWOT analysis when you were doing your self-assessment, all right? Then after that, you set a target for yourself. Set your target markers, okay? And set your target timelines, okay? What is it? What outcome do you want to achieve? And by when do you want to achieve it? What are your targets? When do you want to achieve it? And I highly recommend you go for the quarterly timelines. After every 3 months of the year, you sit down, have a meeting with yourself, or have a meeting with your manager or your mentor, whatever accountability you have in place, and then evaluate how you're progressing, evaluate how you're doing, what's working for you, what's not working for you, okay? And then after that, you make sure that your individual development plan is a continuous process. Just because you get that promotion, you sit down and relax on your IDP. No, you have that promotion, good. You need to continue implementing your IDP because again, you want to improve on your current job position. You want to improve on it, okay? It is by improving on it and being good at it that you get to open yourself to other opportunities within the industry, all right? So it's got to adapt and you have to continue reflecting on it sometimes you don't even have to wait for those 3 months to end. You can have your weekly self-assessment meetings with yourself every Friday of the week or every Wednesday of the week, or whichever day you have time. Look at the goals you set for yourself. What are the short-term goals and long-term goals? I mean, how are you faring on a weekly basis? It really helps because, again, it just makes sure that you are increasing on your efficiency and your productivity towards attainment of those goals. All right. So be enthusiastic about the process. Okay. Psych yourself up, encourage yourself. Okay. Because at the end of the day, it is those habits, okay, that are going to help you attain on the ultimate goals. I'm sure you've heard of the power of those compounding habits. Those daily actions and activities you do? Hmm? Those daily actions and activities, they compound and they make a very big difference towards your ultimate goals at the end of it all right? So I can only encourage you to continue investing in yourself and continue improving on yourself from a professional development point of view. Now, this marks the end of this video discussion. We are going to have another session in our next video that again still is going to cover on this subject of professional development. Why? Because the timing is right. The timing is ideal for us to map out our professional development journey for the year of 2025. Because at the end of this year, we want to sit back and look and say that we are making progress. We are making improvements. And we are getting our careers to have that upward trajectory. Okay, thank you for joining me in this discussion. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. And until then, goodbye.